What will the FCC's vote today on net neutrality mean for companies such as Netflix? The service may not be so attractive if consumers have to pay up. Even CEO Reed Hastings has acknowledged, quote, "We have some vulnerability depending on capacity usage and what happens." Joining us to discuss the rapidly changing business climate in media right now is Stephen Krone. He is a former CEO of movie production company Village Roadshow and is currently counsel at Mitchell Silberberg Knupp. He joins us from Los Angeles. Mr. Krone, welcome to Bloomberg. Thanks so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Sir, first, let's get your reaction to that 3-2 vote today by the FCC. What did you think?
Well, I think that the FCC has been pretty consistent in following this net neutrality line. There are arguments to be made that the owners of these pipelines need to be able to manage them, but I think these have been overridden by concerns that there's too much danger of unfair play, shall we say, and so they've hewn a pretty strict line on insisting on neutrality, and so I don't think that's a surprise.
What does the vote mean for the Netflix business model?
Well, look, the vote is good news for anyone that sends high-volume content over those pipes. So for the Netflix of the world who are concerned that giving the folks who own that pipe some discretion to deal with different content in different ways, that would be bad news for the Netflix of the world. So I think they've got to be pleased.
I was wondering if you might just hold on for a second, because we do have some tape of FCC Commissioner Michael Copps talking about the Internet rules. Let's play that, and I'd like to get your reaction to it.
Sure.
Now, at long last, we adopt at least some concrete rules to prevent gatekeepers from circumventing the openness that made the Internet, and from stifling innovation, investment, and job creation.
Sir, Mr. Copps suggesting there was a stifling of innovation and perhaps creativity. What side of the argument do you fall?
Well, to be clear, I think what the commissioner is suggesting, that there was a risk of that the FCC wants to prevent. So just to be clear on that. But if you're asking the question, what side do I fall? I'm a centrist here. I think that the net neutrality rules make great sense because of the concerns of gatekeeping functions being imposed on a way that is unfair to certain companies, to competitors, what have you. On the other hand, I think it's also fair to say that the folks trying to manage the massive volume of content that's going over those wires has some real issues in terms of being able to manage the content in an effective way. So I think given the current balance, I think the FCC is in the right place.
Yeah.
But it's not a simple issue.
Yeah, Mr. Krone, in our last 30 seconds, we see Hollywood studios starting to align against Netflix to get paid more for their content. How does Netflix overcome that obstacle?
Well, look, I think in a way it's a high-class problem. Netflix has created value in some of this content that the studios didn't see was there, and now having created it, Netflix has to pay more for the content. I don't think that's necessarily the bad news. Obviously, more is always a problem, but they're creating great value for the content, and so now they're going to have to pay more to license it.
Stephen Krone, Mitchell Silberberg Knupp counsel, joining us from Los Angeles. Mr. Krone, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.